I've been working on some new stuff. I added a stripped down naval system that allows amphibious landings. I still need to do some data entry, especially for all the millions of Allied units that are kicking around in the UK. But other than that, I think it's about ready to go. While it's absolutely not necessary to conduct the landings in Normandy, the Allied player can land any place he wants. I thought I'd give it a shot here and do some more or less historical landings just to see how it works out. So we're going to start with the Allied invasion turn. Let's see, a limited intelligence is turned on, so the Allied player won't see much about the Axis player. Uncertainty is turned off. Let's turn off verbose mode so we won't see too many messages. And let's go right to the landing phase and see what happens. So, okay, I think this is Utah Beach. And I'm going to run down here and choose more or less historical stuff. So let's put in the 82nd, the 101st. And the 4th, we'll send in some amphibious tanks, although they are likely to sink on the way in. And we should put a mulberry in there. So let's conduct that landing. The light Axis naval forces, there are not many of them, didn't interfere with the convoy, so it arrived safely, no problem. Whoop, there go those tanks. They just sunk. They didn't make it ashore. And now we've got some combat here. So because we're looking at limited intelligence, note that we're not showing the strength of the German forces, although we've identified what division is there, what forces are there. I've added a new feature where I'm going to put in X's and let the system determine how much, if any, air and naval support that the Germans are going to get. They don't have much of each, and strategically it might be better to save it because it's likely to get clobbered. It's likely just to all die if you try to send it up against the overwhelming Allied air and naval forces here, but we'll let the system decide on that. And here we'll run in a bunch of that stuff. We'll resolve the combat. So we lost some amphibious capacity that got wrecked during the opposed landing. 82nd Airborne was disrupted. Note that I'm allowing the divisions to land without breaking down, but they land unsupported. So here's everything that you could possibly want to know about what happened during that landing. We won't bother to look at that right now. We can see it ended up as a 7-1. We got a half exchange. Destroyed that unit. We'll conduct the advance. So we're ashore at Utah Beach. Now let's go down here. I think the next one to do is this hex, Special Invasion Intelligence. We can see what's here. We can identify there's one division and one non-divisional unit, and there is a zone of control coming out of this hex. We'll click here. At Europa scale, I think what has happened here is we've had to squeeze Gold Sword and Juno into one hex. So we're going to try and squeeze in. I think it goes something like this. We got a couple divisions. Let's see. There should be, I think, an amphibious brigade. Probably some commandos. Don't forget the mulberry and some Canadians all going into this hex for those 3 beaches. So let's conduct that landing. This convoy also made it across safely without interference from Axis naval forces. And we'll X this again. Note that what little air support that the German player had got destroyed because they went up against the massively overwhelming Allied air power. We'll let the system decide if they're going to sink the last 4 naval points on that. And we'll put in some forces here. We'll resolve the combat. Oh, we lost 5 amphibious points, got wrecked in that landing, so that was a bad die roll to lose that many. Once again, we can see everything we want to know about air, naval, and ground forces and exactly what happened. We'll get rid of that. It ended up being a 7-1 with a defender retreat. So let's conduct the retreat here. And we can't go here or here because of zones of control, so we'll retreat into there. The units that got retreated got absorbed into that headquarters, and the Brits and the Canadians came ashore there. All right, so now that we have Omaha Beach surrounded, now we'll go up here into Omaha. And so that means we're going to be landing, something like, what goes in? The 1st Infantry and the 29th goes in. I think they had some amphibious tanks, and there should be some Rangers in there as well. So we'll land that stuff. We'll conduct the invasion. Again, no Axis naval interception of the convoy, which is typical. It would be unusual for an interception to happen. And if it does happen, it's going to be the Axis player who comes off badly. So, these tanks also did not make it ashore. No, what a surprise. No German air or naval assets left because they got squandered on the first two. But we have plenty of Allied air and naval assets, so we'll throw a bunch of those in. We'll resolve the combat here. Lost a lot of amphibious shipping again. Those have been pretty high losses for amphibious shipping. And we'll just scan very quickly down all the details of exactly what happened, what the results were. But the short version of it is right here. A defender halved, conduct a retreat. Well, there's no place to go, so we're going to say we have to delete that. And we'll do one more. Now, I always kind of hate to do this one, is the British 6th Airborne landed on this side of the Orne Canal. And you'd think that would not be a problem, but according to the standard rules, there's a chance, a decent chance, that the airborne unit will be seriously disrupted during the drop, which means they'll have a 0 attack factor, which won't be good for the airborne troops. But we'll go ahead and give that a try. So we'll drop the airborne, and I'm not entirely sure if this is right, but I got to make sure they have some support in case they end up with 0 attack factors. So we'll throw in some more commandos. We'll conduct the landing. No interference because there are no Axis naval assets anymore. They'll get minimal reinforcements along the way, but right now they have none. And we've got some air and naval over here. So we'll resolve this combat. Here's everything that we wanted to know. We won't even bother with that. 7-1, roll to 6, modified to 4. Got a DE, so the Ost Battalion died. And we'll conduct the advance. And there we go. That completes the invasion turn. We got ashore and all 4 hexes. And now here come the Germans, but we will let it go at that.